In order to fight back against Bernkastel, who had taken Angie outside the board, they would need the power of another who was capable of leaving the board. Their last hope was to make sure Lambda Delta didn't abandon this game. However, judging by Lambda Delta's expression as she hummed to herself cheerily, actually asking her for help was probably going to be a problem. Look, Zapar, everything from the first floor down is gone. What a spectacle! Not a sight you see every day. How have matters progressed upstairs? Ah, right, we came here to tell you that. Hey everyone, sorry to keep you waiting. They say the door to the Golden Land has opened. Finally, let us go. This place will not be safe for long. Everyone who had been sitting on the staircase got up. I guess this is goodbye, Rakanjima the Beautiful. True. It may be a shadow of its former self, but this is the last time we'll see it, isn't it? What's with that gloomy attitude? Come on, show me, okay? Let's see a happy ending. The Book of the Single Truth was sealed in crystal by Balor. Until this seal is undone, I can't even stick the key in the keyhole. You can remove this, right? Of course. They were in a vast, dimly lit space. To sum it up in a phrase, it was like a trench in the ocean floor. No, that's not quite right. It was a library. However, the number of books and the height of the shelves vastly surpassed all of those that existed in the world of humans. If the height is the measure of greatness, then the gods must surely be giants taller than mountains. This place appeared to be a library big enough that and grand enough for such gods. Each individual book was no larger than those from the human world. However, the shelves holding them stood like walls of a valley, or rather a deep-sea ocean trench. So Angie and the others looked little more than a few small butterflies who had wandered into this vast library. Like minuscule deep-sea fish swimming about all alone in an ocean pit. This is more like ice than a seal. If you just steal it away from Battler and put it under the rays of the sun, it will fade away by itself as time passes. Isn't there some way to just smash it open? Do you thaw your frozen fish by smashing it with a hammer? Sorry, I was always terrible in cooking class. Kitties, thaw this seal. When Bernkastel whispered from the dark ocean pit deep below them, several emerald green glints appeared and gathered like a school of fish. Bernkastel threw the Book of the Single Truth down to them, and only after several seconds passed, the school of fish seemed to gather around it and carry it away. Those few seconds made it clear just how deep this bookshelf trench went. Angie was once again dumbfounded by this unimaginably vast and godly library. We can just let them handle the rest. And you really will let me see what's inside. If that is your wish, I'll grant it. And of course, I won't be able to read it myself without that key of yours. Angie silently gripped the golden key in her pocket. This journey has been so long and so strange. In search of the truth, from 12 years ago I left my home, met President Okanogi, met Amakusa, and at some point that adventure became wrapped in the illusion of the witch. However, here I am. Ushiromiya Ava's diary is here. The truth inside it is sitting right before me. Rest for a while. Even I don't have enough free time to spend it all with you. Well, I'm not really tired. Erica, serve Angie some tea or something. Yes, my master. Erica popped into existence out of nowhere and bowed to her master. Bernkastel, if you're planning to use me to steal both the key and the book, you won't get off easy. How dare you say such a thing to my master? Sorry, after my long experience with witches, I've decided not to trust normal words. Very well. I'll promise it with the red truth. When the seal on the single book of the single truth is dissolved, you, Angie, will be the first to read it. Is that good enough for you? For some time, Angie considered the witch's words, searching for some sort of trap hidden within them. There's no guarantee greater than a witch's red truth. Angie understood this well enough. If she started to doubt even this red truth, there would be nothing left to trust in this entire world. If she began to suspect even this, then even the truth would no longer be the truth. Is there something more you want? No, I'm fine. If she wanted to read the book of the single truth, she would need Berncastell's assistance. Angie finally realized that she had nothing to gain by complaining more and annoying this witch further. Once you've dissolved this barrier, call me right away. Of course. I also want to read it as soon as possible. I'll call for you at once. Bern spun away from them, then vanished into the dark bookshelf trench. Angie saw a school of emerald green fish appear and follow behind Berncastel. Could those be her familiars? As she stared at the emerald lights that resembled some sort of deep-sea fish, Angie was poked from behind. Let's go, Comrade Angie. You're creeping me out, so please, just call me Angie. Then you can call me Erika-sama. Let's get going, Comrade Erika. The pair began to swim in the direction of Erika indicated. Swim seemed a better word for it than fly. Just what is this place? It's way too big to be called a library. It's not like you'll be able to remember its name, so why not just call it the library? I'll decide what I can or can't remember. Tell me. It's the great witch of theater-going, drama and spectacles, noble city of carefully selected books. Yeah, the library works fine. Knew you'd say that. The City of Books. Yeah, the name fits. The bookshelves on either side of this canyon are skyscrapers. If I think of those emerald green lights falling beneath as headlights or on a highway, then this really does seem like a city of books. These aren't normal books, are they? That's right. Each volume is packed with an ensemble play. They look like books from here, but if you open them, you'll accidentally click a button and you can't read the... You'll find a whole world inside. So even our Longtail is only one of these? Great witches who live in a far, far higher plane than we do are hardly any different from a creator or god. From their perspective, our little tale is worth little more than a single book, if it's even worth that. From a theatergoer's perspective, our individual lives are hardly worth anything at all. If they're recording an entire world in a single volume, then my life probably isn't even worth a single line. But we're the main characters. I am, and so are you. That's right. Even if the tale of the gods doesn't mention us, we're always the main characters in the stories we write for ourselves. Becoming aware of the fact is the first thing that separates witches from humans. They were on a balcony, which was really a room-sized section that had been dug out of the bookshelf with no guardrail along the cliff. It didn't go in very deep, so it looked like a room that had been cut in half. It was filled with tools of everyday life as though this was Erika's hidden house. My master has ordered me to serve you some tea, so if you don't feel like drinking it, I'll have to pour it into you with a funnel. If you try, I'll have to serve you some matcha. Matcha? Nothing. Just talking to myself. Ignoring Erika as she made tea, Angie looked down upon the bizarre otherworldly scene below. Until Erika finished getting the tea ready, the scene held Angie's gaze like it was sucking out her soul. This might sound strange coming from me. What? You actually made a deal to throw away your life to learn the truth. Huh? That's impressive. I had nothing to gain from life. It was easy for me to trade away the time I had left. My master really does take to idle whims. To think she would make a contract for the meaningless life of a powerless girl. Heh. Angie chuckled, not bothering to argue. That was exactly right. How incredible that Berncastel would lend her power to a worthless life that was trying to throw itself away. Well, my master is the witch who controls miracles, so it makes sense that she'd appear even for a worthless girl like you. Good point. Even if Berncastel hadn't appeared, I still would have taken that step off the edge of the day. You really are a cheap and easy woman, aren't you? Well then, just how much are you worth? are you worth? Me? Ha ha ha. The way Erica cackled was disturbing. Still, Angie realized that this was her way of answering the question. People don't become witches of their own choosing. If they're capable of living, all people want to live their lives as humans. When something comes along to trip up that life, that's when that road to living as a witch opens. Even Fruto Erica, who calls herself the Witch of Truth, must be like this. The two witches of truth, sitting here drinking tea without even looking at each other, are exactly the same. I like exposing the truth. I know that. I like exposing secrets and watching those people turn pale as they wonder how I figured it out. That's when I know I've reached the truth, and it's a moment of ecstasy. There's something seriously wrong with you. Well then, what does the truth mean to you? Angie was about to give an immediate answer, but she bit back her words. Then she gulped, not knowing how to respond. After all, to Angie, the truth itself was the goal. At first, it was out of hatred. Could Ushiromiya Eva, the sole survivor of Rakuji, be the culprit behind everything? She hated Eva, but she had no proof that her aunt was the culprit. And of course, Eva never talked about what happened on that island, so at first the truth meant proof that Eva was the culprit in Angie's eyes. However, that feeling withered away with Ava's death. Now that Ava was dead, even if Angie did find some kind of proof, it wouldn't mean anything. So eventually the truth Angie wanted to find became nothing more than the simple desire to know what happened on the island that day. However, one thing was obvious. Even if she did find out the truth, that wouldn't bring any of her family back to her. It might not mean anything at all. You're going to expose the truth your beloved Oni-chan is hiding, even though it's meaningless. You're the one who's not making sense. Erica laughed mockingly. Angie laughed too, as though she agreed. And so, my own truth became my goal. Maybe you could call it my reason for living. So once you do reach the truth, there won't be any point or purpose to you living anymore, right? That's right. So I'll die. Hasn't it been long enough? I've already lived 12 years. Too long. Don't I at least deserve to have a witch appear and grant my wish in my final moments? Or to put it simply, you're just tired of life. Does that sum it up? Yeah. So, both my reason for living and my very existence are completely meaningless. That's why this goal of finding the Book of the Single Truth has put a little sparkle back into my life now that it's nearly over. At least on that score, I'm grateful to Burncastel. I see. Battler wants you to live, so he hid the gold line that would lead you to death. I think I pity Battler-san for the first time. After all, you can't choose your little sister. Sorry, Oni-chan. I'm tired of life. For 12 whole years, I've been living off nothing but the illusion that someone might come home someday. Just let me find peace already. Finding the truth of that day is how I've chosen to mark the end of my life. For 12 years I've believed in a miracle, but there was no miracle. I won't believe in miracles anymore. The Book of the Single Truth, huh? Of course, I'm also dying to find out what's in it, but from what I hear, it doesn't sound like the truth inside is something spectacular enough to mark the end of your life with. Yeah, at first I hoped there would be something earth-shattering in it, but now I've calmed down, I guess you could say. Any truth searched for by a worthless person is bound to be worthless. It'll probably make for a fitting end to your worthless life. Yeah, I'm sure it will. Angie was already starting to realize something. Regardless of Ava's reason for staying silent, the real events of that day probably weren't anything earth-shattering. Some sort of malfunction made the bomb in the secret underground base explode. Yes, it was just an accident, but the public already believed that some sort of conspiracy surrounded the events of that day, so that's what they expected. You know, even if it was completely an accident, I still blame Kenzo. You don't just have an active bomb to nuke your entire home and be like, At the very minimum, you should at least have in your will, even if you're not going to like dictate where things go after you die, you should be like, by the way, I put a nuke under the island. Just so you know. Maybe you guys could like hire professionals to come here to like disarm that, or you could just all be like, oh dear, let's not come here anymore. Ava was a suspect herself, so of course no one would believe her claim that nothing strange happened. Naturally, Angie didn't believe her either. In that case, shutting up like a clam would be better than the alternative. It was harshly surprising that Ava chose to say nothing. Right now, I don't feel any sense of accomplishment. I just feel sort of worn out and listless. Being able to withstand the truth is what makes someone a witch of truth. Comrade Angie, it looks like you don't possess that strength after all. If you did, you wouldn't be thinking about dying. She's supposed to be the Witch of Resurrections. You're right. I've dreamed that someone might come back for 12 years. I've just used Beatrice's cat box to shut away the truth, denying it for all that time. When you read the book of the single truth, I wonder what'll happen to you. Who knows? Won't Berncastel carry out the contract by slicing my head off with a scythe or something? Or will I be turned into chunks of meat again? Maybe I'll get some salt and pepper this time. I see. So that's where the chunks of meat thing came from. Did you say something? Nope, nothing at all. Anyway, would you like some more tea? No, thank you. Angie listlessly gazed down from the balcony with no handrail, down into the darkness of the abyss, at the bottom of the bookshelf ravine. No, the gap between the bookshelf skyscrapers. From the beginning until the end of my journey, I haven't taken a single step away from this spot. This journey of mine, not even a single step long, will end soon. What are those lines of lights flowing around at the bottom? Oh, those? Probably a group of guests coming to the great Lady Aurora's party. Guests? Great witches from the Senate, Voyager witches who are trying to escape boredom in their endless travels, powerful witches who have woken from century-long sleeps, as well as witches who control the future world, and noble witch hunters. It seems she's planning to hold a grand party tonight. What, is it a birthday party or something? From what I've heard, while the great Lady Beatrice, the Endless Witch, is an outsider among witches, she's also the genius who created Beatrice's cat box. Out of her formidable magical compendium, an endless factory capable of producing endless tales. From my point of view, she's just stupid and a weak finisher. But in the world of great witches, she's apparently pretty famous. So this is Beatrice's birthday party? My master says she'll be holding a dinner party with Beatrice's guts. After all, it's only natural, right? The cat box was only able to generate infinite tales because there was no single truth. However, tonight, the single truth will be revealed, thanks to your key, and that means the cat box will be opened. Really, it's no different from slicing open her chest, as she still lives, and tearing out what's inside. Everyone in that huge crowd that looks like a packed freeway is going to one dinner party. I'm not sure what's stronger, my shock at how famous Beatrice is, or my revulsion at those sleazebags. For you, the Book of the Single Truth is nothing more than an end. However, for all those enjoying the mystery of Rock and Dream, this is an event that can't be missed. I see. So that's a crowd of those goats who are chewing Oni-chan's game board apart. Angie's analogy was an accurate one. The crowd so far below them was made of nobles wearing beautiful outfits and goat masks. They were all so intent on tearing the guts out of Beatrice's cat box that they couldn't even hide the drool trickling from their mouths. Those gluttonous goat nobles who derived pleasure from the violence of exposing the truth were in a line of cars heading towards the meeting place. Looks like this is the end for Beatrice and the cat box. Beato and the others have holed up in the Golden Land and the last remnants of the game board. Battler and Beato have strengthened their defenses and have destroyed the first wave, but they won't be able to stop the second. My master has given them an armada capable of destroying the very concept of defensive measures. The Golden Land's ramparts are as good as gone. Those goats who appeared all over the island, they're the personification of random opinions in the future, and all of them want this island's tale to be a tragedy. That's right. Those goats keep getting born from the sea of the internet. That first wave was just the riffraff. The second wave will be entirely different. It's made up of the best of the best. Elite goats selected from the crowd that are capable of denying all the cowering pieces one by one. In total, they number in the hundreds of thousands. 100,000 people to deny the existence of a few dozen hiding on an island. Looks like this is it for Oni-chan too. Are you sure you're ready? You understand that Ushiromiya Battler died in 1986 and that this man is an illusion created by the cat box. Yeah, I understand. Regardless of whether he's my real brother or an illusion, regardless of whether he's who I'd like him to be or not, the battler who created this game, bored for my sake, will die. No, I'm just going to accept the fact that he's already was dead, so it's not like he's actually going to die. Angie thought to herself, shouldn't performing her brother's last rites be her responsibility? This was her final trial, which she had assigned to herself. All of those people down on the game board were the personification of Angie's naivete. By denying the existence of all of them, wouldn't she finally be able to accept the truth? No, that's not right. I'm not being honest, even with myself. That bizarre Halloween party may have been an illusion, but that didn't make it any less heartwarming. Oni-chan said it himself. True, that Halloween party may have been an illusion, however, he was trying to use that party to tell me something. About the second wave. My master has appointed me to be their commander. Leave it to me, Angie-san. My master isn't so malicious that she'd make you dirty your own hands. Yes, that might be kind of her. Those are my lingering attachments we're talking about. I should be grateful to Bernkastel. If she really were cruel, she would probably have ordered me to take charge of the second wave and execute my own family. Comrade Angie, you're a witch of truth, aren't you? That's right. Probably. Then accept the truth, okay? Finally, after 12 years, a single truth lies before you. I'll just sit around here until Bernkastel breaks the seal. You'll probably be summoned as a guest for the party. We've got a mirror, so maybe you should wipe the sleep from your eyes. And maybe you should shave before heading out to battle. It floated there in the empty air, the door to the Golden Land. At its base, there was nothing except the floor tiling about as thick as a rug, so it was fairly hard to imagine that this was Kinzo's study. By this point, all of the game board, except for the Golden Land, had been eaten away, leaving only this door floating in a sea of nothingness.